Hey everyone, Tyler here, Tyler Dice Golf. This video is going to be a AMAAG. Ask me anything about golf. And I'm also going to be talking about what it takes to excel in the Ryder Cup, because the Ryder Cup is only a few short weeks away, so it's going to be here before we know it. So let's start off with the Ryder Cup, right? So the United States picked their final 12th player, Tony Finau, yesterday. I'm really excited. I've been pushing hard for Tony Finau. I've liked him. I've played golf with him a bunch. Great guy, great person, and really happy to see that he got the final spot. He's played 3 great years of golf. The past 2 years have been pretty solid, and this year with 11 top 10s, really hard not to pick him. Like Jim Furyk said, Tony did everything that he could to make it really hard for Jim not to pick him. So congrats to him. Really happy. They'll get a week off before the Tour Championship. So yeah, again, really cool guy, really nice guy. Does a lot of things for his community out in Utah, which is where he lives. So just great guy. Really happy to see him get picked. So what's it take to excel in the Ryder Cup, right? Well, typically they always say putting, and then experience. So that's what everybody says, right? When I personally think putting's super important. Super important, really important. But to me, what really separates the guys from playing great to, just playing average is the guys that play great tend to keep the ball in play off the tee, and they hit great iron shots, they chip really good, and they make clutch putts. Not that they're making everything, just making the putts that seem to halt or get the momentum going in their favor, okay? So clutch putting, short game, just great short game, and hitting really good iron shots. You don't have to hit the ball great off the tee, you just want to mostly keep it in play. They typically don't play the longest golf courses in the world for the Ryder Cup. They don't set them up that way. A lot of times the golf courses play pretty firm, and when they're soft, again, they kind of just, these are the best players in the world. They all hit the ball really good. Very rarely do you see a short knocker out there playing in the Ryder Cup. It just doesn't happen very often. And there's only a few of them. So, these guys are great. And so again, it's going to come down to good iron shots, great short game, and clutch putting. And typically in the past, guys like Ian Poulter, guys like Patrick Reed have made clutch putt after clutch putt after clutch putt. And so that's what's really important in the Ryder Cup. And so right now, let's talk about making those clutch putts, right? So typically, the Ryder Cup golf courses get set up to try and enhance the scoring, i.e. they don't have the greens super fast, but they have them fast enough that the guys can feel comfortable giving every putt a run for it. So making these clutch putts isn't super difficult for them because again, the greens aren't super fast, but they're fast enough that you can make putts, right? So fast enough that you get the ball to the hole, but not too fast that you'll have to worry about it scooting by 3 or 4 feet. So what you'll see is a lot of guys be very aggressive with their putting. And so you'll see less break get taken because they want to make sure they're getting the ball to the hole. So you as a player that's watching this video, when you're playing greens that are like that, and you want to be aggressive, and you know that the ball's not going to scoot on by, you want to make sure that you play a little bit less break, and that you're making sure the putter is accelerating through the golf ball. So you want to make sure you hit all your fundamentals when you do your setup, but then you want to make sure that this putter is accelerating through the ball to get it to the hole. Just like that, right? You do not want to try and baby it and then help it. Like I'm trying to just, and you're like trying to help it get to the hole, right? You don't want to do something like that. You want to make sure you set up right, you hit your fundamentals, you get into this putt, and you're hitting a nice aggressive putt to the hole. Just like that, right? And so that's going to be the key. The guys that typically putt like that, typically putt the best the Ryder Cup. So a guy like Patrick Reed, a guy like Ian Poulter, those guys get the ball to the hole. A guy like Phil Mickelson, he's going to make some putts because he's not afraid to leave that putt short. Okay, a guy like Brooks Koepka, again, he's going to get the ball to the hole. A guy like Dustin Johnson, who putts a little bit more conservatively, likes to dive the ball into the hole more, he's probably not going to make as much putts versus some of the other guys, okay? So just take that into consideration, you know, when you're watching golf, and when you're playing golf at the end of the year, you know, those are the things that are going to be, you know, most important. Again, it's going to be your iron play, short game, and clutch putting. And you want to be able to make the putts that matter the most, right? A clutch par save can mean a whole lot more, right? To you, to get your fire going, get that fire going. You know, the opening hole, you got 4, 5, 6, 7 feet, right? And you're thinking, all right, I got to make this. I got to get started on the right foot, okay? So you're thinking, hey, make sure I get to the hole. So if I'm hitting a little bit firmer, play a little bit less break. And so you just want to think, hey, fundamentals, get my fundamentals down, look at the hole, hit that putt. Right in the center, right? So that's what we're looking for here, okay? So clutch putting is key. Now, this last part, I'm just going to leave it open and let the camera roll. I'm going to check it periodically. I'm going to be hitting some shots. And I'm just going to check for questions. So if any questions come through, I'll just ask them. And I'll hit balls in here for a little bit. And if nothing comes through, no big deal. I'll just end the Facebook Live a little bit early. But if you have any questions, just go ahead and shoot them about golf. And I'll be happy to answer them. If not, then I'm just going to be hitting some shots. And yeah, I'll just be kind of hitting the ball and kind of going through my process of what I do when I'm in here practicing. So right now I'm hitting an 8-iron. I don't know if you can tell, but I've been hitting some 8-irons. And so what I work on here is I'm working on making sure that my swing path is good, my club face is matching up well with that swing path. And then I'm trying to make sure that I don't swing too fast. So if I grab the camera here real quick and show you the screen, right? So I'm showing you the screen. So if you notice that my club head speed is getting a little bit faster, right? Well, I want it to stay around 86, 87 miles an hour. I don't like it jumping up into the 90s. Why? Because the ball's going to go too far if it jumps into the 90s. So I don't want that. I want the ball to go the distance that I need it to go. So I need to focus on, you know, again, making sure the path and my club face match up well, and the swing speed is where it needs to be. So when I get in here, that's what I'm focusing on, some technical stuff like that. So that one went 87 miles an hour, so pretty close. Again, that's what we're going for here. Right around 86, 87 miles an hour. I don't like it getting above 89. So a little faster than that one. That one got to 88. But again, like, this is really technical stuff. But it's things like this that you can work on in a little enclosed space like this, because you don't have to worry about wind. You don't have to worry about humidity outside. This is temperature controlled. So again, I try and fine tune things, and I'm trying to connect the dots from what I feel swinging the club to how it feels and translates to the ball flight and the distance the golf ball will go. So we've hit a couple 8-irons, right? Let me check the phone, see any questions come through. Here we got a question. Struggling with driver and 3-wood. Too much fade sometimes. Can you advise, please? Yeah, sure. This is great. Great question. Too much fade. Okay, so this is, let's grab driver. Hopefully this will work. And we'll hit some drivers, right? So here's driver. Jump out the tee. Okay, too much fade, right? So as you can see right there, I am mostly hitting some fades. So now I'm loosening up, so fade, fade, straight, draw, fade, straight, blah, 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 straight. So hitting some straights and fades, right? So you want to lessen that. So we'll stick the tee in the ground here. All right, easy, 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 right? There we go. So less fade, right? So what happens when the ball fades is when the club coming into the ball, right? Either hitting the ball off the heel, the club face is too far open, or we're hitting too much down the golf ball, right? Or a combination of those three. So if we want to have a less fade, right, we need to make sure that club face squares up a little bit more. We're hitting up on the ball a little bit more, and we're hitting more solid contact. So first things first. When I'm setting up off the tee, right, I do not put the tee in the ground and put the center of the club face behind my golf ball. I actually set up with the golf ball off to the toe. Why? Because when I come up to hit the ball, the club's coming up. Okay? As the club raises, you see, so if the club's sitting on the ground, right, the golf ball, as the club comes up, goes to the heel. Goes to the heel, right? So I set up on the toe, center, center. So I set up with the ball off to the toe. That's going to help me with more solid contact. Number two, I'm going to make sure that I have my spine tilt behind the ball, right? I don't want to be stacked up on my left side. I'm going to have that spine tilt behind the ball. And number three, make sure that golf ball is not too far back in your stance. Because if it's too far back in your stance, you're going to hit down the ball. It's going to cause it to squirt up to the right and slice. Oh, lost the sensor. Hopefully we can reconnect. All right, sorry about that. So, all right, so we're gonna make sure that the golf ball is far enough up in our stance. And so we'll hit a shot, hopefully the sensor's not acting screwy, and we can get some good results. So again, make sure the ball position's where it's supposed to be, get that spine tilt, and again, I set up with that ball out towards the toe. All right, try that one more time. Didn't pick it up. A little disappointed it didn't pick up. That one was hit good. So again, spine tilt, ball position, and then address, make sure that ball is off towards the toe a little bit more. For some reason it's not picking up. I'm sorry. Try it one more time. Oh, it's not picking up because it didn't connect. Sorry, listen. Sorry about that. Sorry, having a technical difficulty here with the sensor. Connecting, connecting, connected. There we go. All right. Let's try this again. We're back again. All right, so ball position, make sure it's in the correct spot. Make sure the ball is at the toe of the club and maintain that spine tilt. And we'll get a big hook for some reason. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. Driver's just not working in here. Gonna have to get that looked at. But if we were hitting down the golf ball, we want to peel to the right. But obviously, as you can see in the camera, my my swing path is not 32 degrees to the left. So we got any more questions? Richard says, I need one of those things. Yes, these things are great, usually. Right now, the driver doesn't seem to work that great. But anyways, you do those three things, that's going to help adjust that ball flight. What's going to happen is instead of it wanting to peel off to the right and then peel more off to the right, they're going to want to straighten out, and they'll start to just hit little soft fades at start, and then they'll kind of start straightening out as you get more and more used to making those slight adjustments. So, because what happens is when you move that ball position forward a little bit, the club's going to have a natural tendency to want to close more, okay? And so initially you may see some pulls, right? You may see it starts out to the left and then fades, okay? Initially that's something you could see. But as you stick with it, this club face is going to want to square up and close a little bit more, and those are going to start straightening up. And so those shots that start to the left and then fade are then just going to start to the left, okay? But keep working with it, because as you start to swing a little bit more and get it grooved a little bit better, you make slight change with your alignment, those shots that start to the left are going to start going straight for you, okay? So just stick with it. Any more questions? 3-wood off the deck, flying low and right. All right, 3-wood off the deck. And I'm getting more issues with the flight scope. I'm sorry. It's been acting perfectly up until right now. Now, I can't do a 3-wood off the deck because if I bring the camera over here, there is no 3-wood in this bag. Okay, I do not have a 3-wood. I carry a hybrid, and there's no 3-wood. There's only 13 clubs in that bag right now. And I'm sorry for that, but yeah, 3-wood's in timeout. And until I get a new one, no 3-woods from me. Megan wants to know, what is a matchup you're wanting to see at the Ryder Cup and why? What is a matchup I want to see at the Ryder Cup and why? I would love to see Patrick Reed go up against Rory McIlroy again at the Ryder Cup. That would be a lot of fun in singles matches. I'd also really like to see Tiger Woods maybe go up against Rory, or Tiger Woods go up against Ian Poulter at the Ryder Cup in the finals. At the last day of the singles. That would be really, really cool. So I'd love to see those two things. If a team match, I'd love again to see Patrick Reed and Jordan Spieth go up against, say, Rory and maybe Justin Rose. That would be a really, really cool pairing as well. So love to see those three pairings. Anything else? Any more questions? All right, so let's talk about 3-wood. We can talk about 3-wood off the deck going low. I can't show you anything because the machine keeps disconnecting and connecting again, so I'm going to get that looked at. But 3-wood off the deck going too low. So what likes to happen when that 3-wood goes too low is, I see this a lot, it's because the 3-wood, unless you have enough loft, the 3-wood needs a certain amount of speed to get the ball up into the air. Or you need to make sure you have a shaft that matches up good with your swing to get that ball up into the air. Very rarely do I see anyone really fitting anyone for 3-woods. and there's not a big demand for it. So a lot of times people don't get a great shaft in their 3-wood to help them hit the ball as well as they need to. So first thing I see for a lot of people is the 3-wood shaft. It's just not great. And the idea of getting a slightly heavier version of the driver shaft is a bad one, because your 3-wood swing is a whole lot different than a driver swing. So with your driver swing, you hit up on the ball, right? You hit up on the ball. With a 3-wood, you're hitting pretty level and still hitting down on it. So that's going to be a totally different dynamic, okay? So if your 3-wood is going too low and wants to squirt to the right, initially that tells me that the shaft is bad and that the club doesn't have the right amount of loft on it for your attack angle. And probably that means you're coming into it, you're definitely coming into it steep, okay? So you're coming steep, maybe a little bit too steep, and there's not enough loft at impact to get the ball up into the air appropriately. So yeah, shaft and loft in the club are going to be your 2 main factors on that. You can try setting up more towards a driver with the 3-wood. You're trying to have a more level attack angle. But in my experience, if most times when you try and do that, the ball is going to want to go quick and hard to the left, because that's just not the dynamic the golf club was designed to be at, okay? So loft of the club head and shaft. If you have an adjustable 3-wood like, I don't have one in here. Well, my hybrid is. So my hybrid's adjustable. So if you have a 3-wood or a hybrid or whatever that is adjustable, and so you see here there's a little triangle, and you can add loft, which I have actually. So you can add loft, go this way, go to higher, or you can take loft off and go lower. So I've taken some loft off because I don't have a 3-wood in the bag right now. Good idea maybe to add a whole bunch of loft to the 3-wood. And so what happens with TaylorMade Club, when you add loft, the club face will actually get a little bit closed. So if it starts off square, as you add loft, the club face does that. As you take loft off, the club face does that, okay? So you add some loft, it's going to help it'll close that club face a little bit more for you. And that will also help you, again, get the ball in the air and hit it a little bit straighter. Okay? Any more questions? No, I guess that's about it. So that's all the questions we have. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties with the machine. Maybe got hit by lightning or something last night. We had a huge storm. So anyways, I'll take a look at this, try and figure it out, and hopefully tomorrow we'll have some better results. That's all I got for y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to try and do some more of these question and answer stuff. So stay tuned, because I'll post more of them. All right, thanks. Oh, wait, we got one more question. Oh, no. Thanks for the advice. Right next time at the course. Perfect. All right, thanks, y'all. Have a good day.